Gordon Jago, Millwall's promotion-winning manager between 1974 and 1977, died on the 4th of July, aged 92. He was a big part of football in the United States of America, but also in England. Born in Poplar to the north of the Isle of Dogs, he turned to coaching after a playing career which included under-20 caps for England and some appearances for Charlton Athletic. So what was his contribution to Millwall? He was appointed in 1974 under a new board when it became clear that the brilliant Benny Fenton side had broken up and was now in great danger of relegation to the third tier. The new strategy was to create the very best youth policy in the whole of the country under Bob Pearson, an appointment by Gordon Jago, and to start building direct communications with the fans and the local community in particular. On the field, it was to re-establish a secure position in the second tier of English football at least. All this with hooliganism gripping the game at its height in the 1970s and with crowds down to around 5,000 and 6,000 at the Den, in an era of political uproar. Relegation was nearly avoided, but within 1 year, Jago's team had returned the club to the second tier with promotion, holding off a late challenge from Crystal Palace. The youth policy became a cornerstone of Millwall policy for much of the next 50 years, featuring 2 victories in the FA Youth Cup and many other honours, and the emergence of young talent reaching the very highest points of the game. Think Teddy Sheringham and think Tim Cahill and just many others. Think also Keith Stevens, Alan McCleary, Kevin O'Callaghan, Dave Memmott, for long-serving and significant players in the club's history. Gordon was nothing if not forward-thinking and innovative. When I was preparing this special tribute podcast to Gordon, I had the opportunity to listen again to what he told us in 2021 about how he came to actually join Millwall, and I enjoyed listening to that. I hope that will be a nice part of this tribute.
I walked out of QPR, and I got it very quickly. I got a call from Brian Moore, who was, of course, the ITV television sports reporter, and he asked me to call Mr. Burnige, Jeff's father, and said that they were interested in talking to me. And that's how it all started. I went to meet Mr. Burnige at Claridge's in London, because his office was right next door. And I was so impressed with Mr. Burnige. He was very honest and forthright about the position of the club. It was in danger of being relegated. It wasn't in a good financial position at that time, but he was very forthright, and I respected him. And I accepted to join Millwall as their manager at that time. So leaving QPR was a disappointment, but Millwall was great. It was 2 years. It was a fascinating time. We went through a great deal. And as your dad probably would know, it was an interesting season or two at that time because there was the hooligan problem. And of course, I thought I could save the club. They were in the bottom 3 at that time. I thought I could get them out of trouble. I joined them in November. I thought I could get them out of trouble and then move on and, say, hey, I've enjoyed it. I've done a good job. See what's next. But unfortunately, I didn't. We got relegated to the 3rd division, first time in my life. But we had a very young side. We had to make a lot of changes because a lot of the senior players at that time at Millwall wanted to leave. There were 5 on the transfer list when I got there. But anyway, cut a long story short, we satisfied those boys. We moved them on, and we went out and we signed a lot of young boys. We developed a terrific youth side. We got promotion back in the first attempt. So we got back into the 2nd division.
And that promotion in 1976 was built on, shall we say, slender means. So what did he do? Among other things, he signed 2 20-year-old black lads from South London, straight from non-league Epsom and Ewell, who were not even a top-level non-league club. They were the late, great Phil Walker and right-winger Trevor Lee, who I spoke to after we both heard of Gordon's untimely death. Well, as we said, Gordon Jago was a forward-looking man with some very fresh ideas in the mid-1970s and was determined to get the club back up to the second tier at the first time of asking. And in 1975, he certainly showed some forward thinking by signing two young black 21-year-olds from Battersea who were at school together, namely Phil Walker and Trevor Lee. And I've got Trevor Lee with me now. Trevor, tell us exactly what you can recall of being asked if you'd like to sign for Millwall.
It was an occasion whereby we had to play in the reserve team, and trials like. So we'd come midweek on a Wednesday and play in the reserves, And after that period, so after about 2 or 3 weeks, Gordon Jago asked if we wanted to sign for the club.
He took his time then.
Yeah, he took his time, yeah.
And do you remember any of those games? Were any of them proper league games like London midweek?
No, they were reserve team games.
Friendlies?
Yeah, they were in the league then, weren't they?
Yeah, they were. I think it was the London midweek league or something, something like that.
I can't remember the name of the league.
So that's how it happened, and you had to give notice of your job become professional footballer.
Yeah, well, I mean, I was working as a locksmith. And ended up going down to the Den, and it was a really strange experience for us because I played in professional football grounds before. Obviously, when I was a youth team player at Fulham. After the 3 weeks, I was shocked to find out that Gordon wanted to sign us.
So did Gordon tell you himself?
He did, yes.
Can you recall what he said, how he put it to you, and what he expected of you?
He just expected us to play our normal game, and if there's anything to talk about as far as the game was concerned or the way we played, he would let us know. He'd take us aside,
But after that, he put you straight in the team, didn't he?
He did, yeah. We went straight in. I couldn't believe it. I mean, I thought I'd at least be, broke in.
There was only one sub in those days.
Yes, there was only one sub.
So you had no choice. In you went.
Yeah.
You on the right wing.
Yeah.
Phil somewhere in midfield.
Midfield, yeah.
I believe he might have scored the winner. But we're talking about Gordon today rather than your experiences. What sort of things did he say to you to encourage you in your early professional career?
He used to take us aside and he would just talk to us and say, look, play your normal game. Play the game that you feel good at, and you can handle. At the end of the day, he said, if there's anything to talk about, we will talk about it. But he never really said it. He just said, go out and enjoy yourself.
So who was coaching at the time with him?
It was Theo Foley.
Yes, a good coach.
Now, Theo was, he put a lot of pressure on us because Gordon said one thing and he said the other. He said, when you lose the ball, get back and defend, and for a while, because I was so used to attacking all the time, as a winger, I attacked fullbacks and whatever and defences. So for me to go running back, to defend.
That season ended well because we ended up getting promoted in your first season as a full-time professional footballer.
Absolutely.
What's your recollections of that season and how Gordon dealt with it?
Yeah, the season was, towards the end of the season, you're talking about probably about 13 games unbeaten, something like that.
Yes.
We got promoted instead of Crystal Palace.
Well, that's not a bad thing, is it? But do you remember one thing? He had some crazy ideas, very forward-looking. Do you remember him bringing in Romark, the hypnotist?
Yeah, Romark, yeah. Oh, absolutely. I mean, Romark used to go to away games with us on the train up north or the Midlands or wherever, and he'd put on a little show on the train, you get loads of tricks and whatever, all sorts of things he used to come up with.
We had a couple of players on loan at the end of that season. Chris McGrath was one, I remember. But as it got in, we were looking like we might get up, but Crystal Palace were hard on our heels, weren't they? And I believe Romark put a curse on Crystal Palace.
Apparently.
Do you remember that?
I don't remember that
Well, I remember, I think a lot of our fans will remember us going over there and getting a result, I think a 1-0 win, and I think Peter Taylor might have missed a penalty.
Oh, right.
And Romark said it was because he put a curse on him. Right? And then, do you remember how you found out that we'd got promoted? Because it wasn't on the field, was it, when we found out?
I think our last game was away from home, and I think it was Swindon or something. I think it was Swindon. Yeah. And we won at Swindon.
Yeah,
you know. So,
but Paris had 2 games left and could still pep us.
Yeah, but
I think we were actually playing a 5-a-side tournament at Wembley Arena when the news came out. Can you remember finding out how we got promoted?
No,
long time ago, Trevor.
It was, it was a long time.
So, what else about Gordon? Would you like to tell everybody your feelings about him and how important he was in your future career?
Absolutely, I mean, without Gordon, I mean, I was getting disillusioned by the time I got to Fulham, and then once Fulham turfed me out, they said, "You're not up to standard, son," you know, and so I was kicked out of there. But he sort of like his attitude was just go and have fun. Go and have fun, boys. You know what I mean?
How was he with the Millwall fans, do you think?
His fans, he was good. He was good with the fans. Yeah.
And he encouraged you to take them on board, and they soon started to really like you, didn't they?
Yeah, but they could not like us, because at the end of the day, the first game we played, we beat Mansfield, I think it was.
Yeah.
And
did you set it up?
Phil scored the goal. I set it up. Yeah, I headed it back across the goal and Phil headed it in.
From that moment, you were okay.
That was it. We hit the ground running.
Any final thoughts on what Gordon was like as a man and what he was like for you? What would you like to say?
Yeah, he was a great fella, and he reminded me of an old school teacher I used to have, you know. And he'll talk to you, and he'll let you talk to him. He didn't say too much back, you know. He just let me talk. And but a lovely guy, great fella, and sadly missed.
I'm glad you've made time to tell us about those experiences, Trevor. Thank you very much, and we all look forward to seeing you back at the new Den fairly soon. The Millwall Community Trust is to launch a former players association.
Right.
I'm sure you'll be a part of that eventually. And thank you very much. Can't thank you enough.
No problem, Jeff.
That was a lovely conversation I had with Trevor Lee the other day. Now, next here from Phil Coleman.
This week I received the sad news that former manager Gordon Jago had passed away. Gordon was my first professional manager when I signed schoolboy forms as a 15-year-old at Millwall. I was training during the school holidays at Pete Freen's and watching him lead the team from the tunnel at the Old Den. He was a lovely man. He took an interest and encouraged young players. He was the manager when I left school and became an apprentice footballer, training every day beside the first team, where Gordon and coach Theo Foley worked their magic with players like Trevor Lee, Phil Walker, Terry Brisley, Dave Donaldson, and obviously Big Barry Kitchener. He put in place a youth development structure that set up what would happen a few years later. And in terms of coaching and management, he was ahead of his time, with a vision for the future that might happen one day. I remember him saying we need to offer more at the Den to make money than just a few games of football every year. Gordon was forward-thinking, a decent man, and will be missed by many, including his family and friends. Rest in peace, boss.
Oh, that was a fine tribute from Phil, who went on, as I say, to a long career in football and many appearances, including some in that legendary 1988 side who won promotion to the top flight for the only time in the club's history. Finally, we hear from Bryan King, in some fans' mind, the best ever goalkeeper for Millwall, who was at the club when Gordon arrived and whom he met later on many occasions. What did Bryan want to say?
Sad to hear that Gordon Jago has passed away, aged 92. Gordon came to Millwall in November 1974. It was a difficult season which ended in relegation. We talked about the new season 75-76, Gordon said that he wanted to rebuild the team and needed a sale of a player. That player would be me. He told me 2 clubs were interested. I then met Gordon Milne and decided to join Coventry. That was a difficult season for me, but a great season for the Lions. They gained promotion. I had an in and out season at Coventry, playing 40 games and sustained an injury. We played in May at the Old Den in my testimonial. And that was to be one of the last times I saw Gordon or actually played football. I then moved to Norway, and after Gordon's successful spell at Millwall, he moved on to America, where he became a big name. He was very successful with Tampa Bay, and then moved on to Dallas, where he introduced youth football. He was a great advocate of youth football and really set America alight with the Dallas tournament. I kept in touch with Gordon through the years and actually met him a couple of years ago at the Football Writers' Dinner. Just the same Gordon, very elegant, smart, loved to talk, especially football, about the old days and what was going to happen in the future. All I can say, Gordon, is rest in peace, my friend, and condolences to your family. I had a great time getting to know you, and you'll be missed in the football world.
There was so much more that could be said about Gordon Jago, who left our club in the aftermath of the notorious BBC Panorama programme, who he felt betrayed by, and for which he bravely took responsibility. R.I.P. Gordon Jago, visionary and promotion-winning Millwall manager of the 1970s.